The Las Vegas Raiders just got hit with some devastating news heading into what might be the most crucial game of their season. When I say devastating, I mean the kind of blow that makes you question whether this franchise can ever catch a break. We're talking about a situation that could very well define the entire trajectory of their year, and right now, it's not looking good. Brock Bowers is officially out for Sunday's game against the Titans, and that alone is a nightmare. The rookie has been battling a PCL injury, missing practice for nearly 2 straight weeks, and was already sidelined last game. But losing him at this point, when the Raiders' offense has been barely holding itself together, is catastrophic. This kid has been one of the only bright spots on this roster, a dynamic, dependable playmaker who gave Gino Smith a lifeline every time things got messy in the pocket. He's been the kind of player who makes things happen when nothing else is working, and now, just when the team needs him most, he's stuck on the sidelines again. But here's the real kicker. The Raiders knew about his injury. They knew Brock Bowers was dealing with a PCL issue, yet they kept pushing him to play. And now they're paying the price. Football is brutal, yes, but when you gamble with a player's health like this, you're not just taking risks, you're inviting disaster. Maybe they thought they could squeeze out a few more big games from him before shutting him down, but now it's clear that approach backfired completely. You have to wonder if the medical staff and coaching team prioritized short-term results over long-term recovery, and if so, this could be the decision that derailed their entire season. Still, as bad as losing Bowers is, it's not even the worst part of what's happening in Vegas right now. The real crisis might be under center. Gino Smith, the supposed veteran leader of this team, is hanging by a thread. Let's be honest, this is his last shot. This upcoming game against the Titans isn't just another week on the schedule. It's make or break. If Gino doesn't deliver here, his time as the Raiders' starting quarterback could be over. And the most terrifying part? There's no one behind him ready to take over. The backup situation is a mess. Kenny Pickett, the guy waiting in the wings, doesn't exactly inspire confidence. If Pittsburgh gave up on him, that should tell you everything. He's shown flashes at best, but nothing that screams franchise quarterback. So the Raiders are essentially trapped, forced to ride with a struggling starter who's thrown 9 interceptions already this season because there's simply no better option. It's a quarterback crisis with no escape plan. That brings us to Sunday. The Raiders are facing the Titans, the kind of opponent that should be a get-right game for any team hoping to keep their season alive. The Titans are bad. Their offense sputters, their defense can't stop anyone, and they've looked lost most of the year. This is a matchup that the Raiders should win easily. But should doesn't mean will. Because right now, this Raiders team looks like it's collapsing under its own weight. If they can't beat the Titans at home, what's left to play for? The Titans aren't a powerhouse. Sure, they've got a few solid players like Calvin Ridley and Tyler Lockett, but this is one of the weakest rosters in football. Even with a decent offensive line, they're a team that top franchises should demolish. But with Brock Bowers out and Geno Smith throwing picks like it's his hobby, you have to wonder if the Raiders can even score enough points to compete with anyone right now. Just think about last week's embarrassment, 6 points against the Colts. 6. You can't win games in this league putting up field goals and failed red zone drives. That's not just bad, it's unacceptable. And if the Raiders' offense looks that lifeless again this weekend, it might be time for some serious changes. Geno Smith needs to step up in a way we haven't seen all season. This isn't about managing the game or avoiding mistakes. It's about taking control, moving the ball, and finding the end zone, repeatedly. Because anything less than 24 points, and this team has no shot. And let's be clear, if Geno throws another 2 or 3 interceptions, if he fails to move the chains or looks lost under pressure again, it's over. Fans will turn. The locker room will turn. This game could be the breaking point. Now, let's talk about the man behind all of this, head coach Pete Carroll. Because this entire situation, from Geno's regression to the lack of accountability, has his fingerprints all over it. There's a pattern here that's hard to ignore. Carroll has always had this reputation for being a player's coach, someone who builds confidence and keeps things positive. But there's a fine line between encouragement and coddling, and Carroll has crossed it. We saw it back in Seattle. Carroll's approach with Russell Wilson turned into a cautionary tale. He hyped Wilson up so much, gave him so much control, that the quarterback started believing he was untouchable, even demanding his own office in the building. That kind of culture fractured the team, split the locker room, and eventually helped bring down one of the most dominant defenses of the era. It was a collapse built on unchecked egos, and it's happening again, only now it's Geno Smith. When Carroll brought Geno to Vegas, he sold everyone on a comeback story, the veteran redemption arc. And for a while, it worked. Geno surprised people, played efficiently, and earned praise. But then came the regression. The turnovers. The inconsistency. Yet through it all, Carroll refused to criticize him. Week after week, no matter how bad Gino played, the message from the podium stayed the same: he was solid, we just need to execute better, we'll get it fixed. Not once has Carroll said the thing everyone's thinking: Gino Smith needs to play better. When a quarterback throws multiple interceptions in back-to-back games, most coaches send a message, either through words or by giving the backup a shot. But not Carroll. After Gino's third pick in one game, reporters asked if he considered benching him. Carroll's response? No, we're not there. Not there? What's it going to take? 5 interceptions? A total collapse on national TV? Because if 3 turnovers in one game doesn't even put the possibility on the table, then accountability has completely left the building. It's one thing to protect your quarterback's confidence, but there's also a point where constant positivity turns into denial. A great coach knows how to balance both, to support his player while still demanding excellence. Carroll, though, seems stuck in a loop of excuses and optimism. That might have worked when he had the Legion of Boom to bail out his offenses, but this is a different era. The Raiders don't have that kind of cushion. They need results, not reassurance. If Carroll doesn't start holding his quarterback accountable, he risks losing the entire locker room. Players know when someone's being protected. They can feel when a coach's words don't match the reality on the field. And once that trust is gone, once the team starts thinking the rules don't apply to everyone equally, that's when things truly fall apart. The truth is, the Raiders' season now hinges on this Sunday. It's not just about beating a bad Titans team, it's about proving they still have life, that this roster still believes in something. Gino Smith needs to have the performance of his career, not for stats or headlines, but to save the season and maybe even his job. And Pete Carroll needs to decide if he's coaching a team or babysitting one. Because the days of "we're not there yet" are over. So, Raiders Nation, the question is simple. Can this team rise from the chaos, or are we watching another collapse in slow motion? Is Gino Smith the guy to lead this offense, or has his time run out? Drop your thoughts below, let's get the conversation going. And if you're riding with the silver and black through thick and thin, hit that like button, subscribe for more breakdowns, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the post-game fallout, because one way or another, it's going to be dramatic.